It was a freezing morning when a man cleaning inside an old abandoned factory made a shocking discovery. Lying in the yard was a dog, completely motionless, too weak to move. Her thin body looked lifeless, and the cold wind cut through the air at -3 degrees. Worried, the man quickly called for help. A rescue team soon arrived at the factory. From the gate, they could already see her on the ground. She didn't lift her head, didn't wag her tail. She simply lay there as if she had no energy left. When they came closer, the sight was heartbreaking. Her body was skin and bones, her breathing shallow, her fur covered in dirt and mud. She could no longer control her body and was shivering nonstop in the cold. Her eyes opened slowly. Tired, but filled with a small spark of hope, she looked at them. That single look was enough to show she wanted to live. The rescuers gently lifted her up and rushed her to the nearest animal hospital. The ride took about 20 minutes. She stayed quiet, barely breathing, her chest rising weakly with each breath. The team kept her wrapped warmly and hoped she would hold on. At the hospital, doctors moved fast. She was placed in the emergency room, given oxygen through a ventilator, and medicine to bring down her fever. Tests showed what was already visible. She was severely malnourished. Her muscles had wasted away, leaving her unable to stand or walk. She had likely been starving for many days, maybe even weeks. The doctor explained that recovery would take time, but it was possible with care. After about an hour, her fever began to settle. She opened her eyes a little wider and seemed more alert. With help, she ate a small meal. As she swallowed, tears slipped from her eyes. She looked up at the people around her as if she understood she was no longer alone. Over the next 2 days, her condition slowly improved. Every meal was carefully prepared and checked by the doctors. Fluids were given daily to treat her dehydration. Each day, she gained a little more strength. By the 5th day, she was much better. The fever was gone, her front legs moved more easily, and she could sit up for a short while. That same day, she was gently bathed. The dirt and mud that had covered her for weeks were washed away. Her fur looked cleaner, and her tired expression began to fade. Her back legs, however, remained still. She couldn't stand or walk, only sit briefly before lying down again. The doctor started physiotherapy, small exercises to warm and stretch her muscles. Bit by bit, the exercises encouraged movement. By the 12th day, her appetite had grown. Her body weight showed signs of recovery. Her long hair was trimmed away from her eyes, and she looked around the room more clearly. She no longer needed machines for support, and her condition was stable enough for her to move into a private recovery room. There, her therapy continued daily. Doctors and caretakers worked with her gently, encouraging her to rebuild strength. She ate well, rested deeply, and slowly began to look more like a healthy dog. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. On the 23rd day, something incredible happened. With effort, she pushed herself up with her hind legs. Slowly, shakily, she stood. Then, step by step, she walked forward. The room filled with cheers. Doctors and staff clapped and smiled as they watched her take those first steps. Her eyes were bright, her tail wagged, and for the first time, she stood proudly on her own. From that day forward, progress came quickly. Within a month, she was walking confidently, sometimes even running short distances. Her body had healed far beyond what anyone had expected. She had gone from being nearly lifeless on the cold ground to full of energy and life. The day she left the hospital was a day of joy. She walked out with strength in her steps, her eyes shining, her spirit free. The dog who had once been abandoned and starving was now healthy, happy, and ready for a new life filled with love. Her story is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope can still shine through. With care, patience, and kindness, lives can be completely transformed. If this story touched your heart, give it a like. Share it so more animals like her can find the rescue and love they deserve.